Imagine 1274, Tsushima Island, the impossible odds. The horizon darkens with ships. You're at asterisk samurai risk, watching an unstoppable invasion force. A vast Mongol armada, conquerors of empires, arrives. Your entire defense. Only 80 warriors stand ready. This isn't a fight, it's a death sentence. So why did these asterisk samurai charge against all logic? Your defeat is certain before any arrow leaves its bow. However, you are a samurai, and true samurai never back down. This particular aspect always fascinates me whenever I reflect on it. Sukekuni was aware. This narrative has captivated me since my teenage years, around 15. I once encountered a brief mention of it in a history text, and I truly couldn't abandon the idea because the statistics were illogical. 80 samurai versus an invading fleet that had already subjugated China. I completely reshaped my understanding of how minor acts of defiance influence history's course. Now, let's explore it. Initially though, precisely who were the Mongols then? Because I believe many often mention the Mongols without truly comprehending the immense scope of their influence. Most expansive, continuous land empire ever. The Jin dynasty was gone. The Khwarezmian Empire was erased. Russia, Poland, and Hungary had been invaded and laid waste. In 1274, Kublai Khan, Genghis's grandson, commanded a larger dominion than Rome. They weren't merely skilled warriors. Instead, they operated as a system, coordinated, adaptable, and ruthless. Moreover, Kublai had shown patience towards Japan. He dispatched diplomats. These demands were reiterated in 1268, 1269, 1271, and 1272. Japan's reply was complete silence. They simply chose to disregard him. This, and I state this with full knowledge, such audacity to ghost the most powerful empire. The Khan then decided they would proceed the difficult way. It was 1274. With 23,000 warriors and 900 ships, their first destination was Tsushima Island. This is where the situation becomes unsettling. Since samurai combat in the samurai tradition emphasized individualism. Warriors would declare their name and ancestry, then challenge a worthy foe to one-on-one combat. They'd fire a whistling arrow to commence ritualistic fighting. The Mongols, Sukekuni guided his 80 samurai warriors onto the sandy shore. The Mongol forces advanced in tight ranks, protected by their shields. Their movements were synchronized by booming war drums. Then, what's more, this particular detail was truly unbelievable when I initially encountered it. They utilized explosive devices. These were made of. Despite these challenges, Sukekuni's warriors attacked following their ancestral customs. A historical record recounts Sukekuni's loyal retainer, Saito Suksada, slain. 3 arrows struck him in the chest, yet he continued to fight. Again, 3 arrows. He pressed on. These individuals were. Still, they persevered. Their ranks dwindled to less than a quarter, and they continued to fight. After Sukekuni fell, all 80 of his samurai lay deceased upon the shore. The Mongols subsequently. This was standard protocol, utterly brutal, highly deliberate. A similar scenario unfolded there. They then sailed to Kyushu, making landfall at Hakata Bay. Kyushu was engulfed in turmoil. The samurai endured cultural shock. Their ceremonial challenges were countered by widespread archery barrages. The explosive device. The exact reasons remain uncertain. Perhaps they had lost vital commanders. It's also plausible they had always intended this as a reconnaissance raid to assess defenses. A storm could have severely damaged their fleet. Narrative becomes truly captivating for me, and I believe it's the segment that is most often overlooked. The Japanese, remarkably, did not panic. They meticulously analyzed their predicament. They understood something. Tradition had failed utterly and disastrously in just one day. Many nations, confronted with such a revelation, would spiral into decline. Japan, however, did precisely the opposite. They constructed a massive wall. Upon reading about this monumental barrier, I specifically consulted a map to fully grasp its immense scale. Its size was enormous. They restructured their defensive units to engage as synchronized formations. Furthermore, they devised tactics for nighttime raids, involving small boats swarming much larger. The vivid memory of Tsushima, of Sukekuni and his 80 warriors, and that bloody beach, became the potent symbol fueling all these efforts. By 1281, he deployed two distinct fleets. One, the eastern route, originated from Korea, carrying 40,000 warriors and utilizing 900 ships. The other, a southern route. At Tsushima, the island's new defender was fully aware of Sukekuni's fate 7 years earlier. Still, he resisted. His forces were annihilated, and the island was burned once more. However, the 19-kilometer stone barrier stood ready. Behind it, thousands of samurai waited in well-coordinated defensive arrangements. The Mongols attempted their landings. However, synchronized. The Mongol cavalry, their most formidable land-based weapon, proved unable to reach the shore. The fleet endured nightly assaults, with numerous small Japanese vessels encircling the Mongol. During July, incorporating an additional 100,000 troops, the joint armada then shifted its position to Tsushima Island. The struggle persisted, with no side gaining a clear edge. Archaeological findings support just how dire the situation became. Discovered Mongol shipwrecks indicate vessels rapidly assembled. Often, upon impact, the vessels simply disintegrated. Ships close to the shore crashed together, their anchors fractured. Many ships were crushed against the rocks. Those in deeper waters severed their anchors, attempting to weather the storm. Numerous vessels the invasion drew to a close. Survivors who reached the land were relentlessly pursued. The handful of surviving ships struggled homeward. The Japanese named the Tempest Kamikaze. Now, there's a particular aspect I consistently hope everyone grasps when discussing the Kamikaze. The Tempest genuinely occurred. It proved utterly destructive. However, this specific point truly caught my attention as I thoroughly researched it. Merely the storm would not have secured Japan's safety. If coordinated defensive forces were absent, their numerical superiority would become overwhelming. Lacking the nightly assault strategies, the fleet would have regained strength and restructured. The true marvel was not the gusts. Instead, the marvel lay in the transformation. Propelled by the recollection of 80 warriors who advanced towards certain doom, Kublai Khan contemplated a third attempt at invasion. Schemes were devised, yet various border disputes absorbed his focus. Japan's importance receded. The Mongols typically triumphed as their adversaries eventually gave way. Conversely, Japan dedicated 7 years to developing a system tailored to Mongol vulnerabilities. And for an island nation battling a cavalry empire, that's quite impressive for a defensive effort initiated by 80 men who fully understood their impending demise, yet advanced regardless. The 80 samurai stationed on Tsushima did not achieve victory. They suffered a total defeat. Not a single one survived. That defeat subsequently served as the bedrock. At times, the greatest contribution of a defeat is revealing precisely the challenges you confront. Following a 7-year period, Japan became fully prepared. Should you have Leave a comment below if you'd like me to delve further into the Mongol incursions. A substantial narrative exists here